Hi, welcome to another session on Azure, and today we'll talk about Azure Databricks. So, if you want to learn Azure Databricks has provided Community Edition. Okay, even if you don't have Azure credentials, Azure login, or Azure Workspace to use your Azure Databricks, you can go and always use Community Edition. So Azure Databricks is available in Databricks is available in Azure as well as AWS. But if you want to use Databricks on this platform, then you need to have either the free account or you need to pay for it, right? But if your intention is only to learn Databricks, you can use Community Edition. So before going to Databricks Community Edition, first let us look at what is Databricks. So Databricks is actually a Spark, Apache Spark. So Databricks is developed by the founders of Apache Spark. So they donated all the code to Apache Spark and they created their own service on top of Apache Spark called Databricks. So we'll talk about Spark also later on this chapter, why Spark and why it is required. So this session is completely exclusively for introducing Azure Databricks Community Edition. So for if you don't have login, just go to Bing or Google and type um, Databricks Community Edition login. Okay, so you will get that community.cloud.databricks.com. Just click on that. If you don't have access, I have already created, that's why it directly came into my session. So let's say let me log out this. Okay, now you can see, this is the screen that will appear once you click on the login button, right? So either you can sign up if you don't have one. Okay, so once you log in inside Community Edition, then on the left hand side you can see various tabs starting from Databricks, then you have Home button, then Workspace, Recents, Data, Clusters, Jobs, and also Search. So on the top Databricks, if you click on that, you will get the current window where all the different tasks is segregated into one folder as a dashboard kind of visual. So you can, if you want to create a blank notebook, you can um, click on this. On the right hand side you have the create a blank notebook, or if you want to explore the data that you need to use it in a notebook, then you can import the data first, because in the Community Edition you are not um, mounted your Databricks into Azure Data Lake Store, Cassandra, HDFS, or AWS, anything, right? So for for your learning purpose, you need to first import the data into your workspace, so you can use that import and explore data for that. And if you want to understand more about Databricks Notebook Workspace and a usage, you can click on the quick start tutorial. And on the bottom side, you can see common task, reasons, what's new in the latest version. So I have recently worked on all these notebooks. That's why it is appearing on the recent under the recent tab, right? So under the common tasks, these are the common tasks as a data engineer or a data scientist or business analyst is you will be using um, in the Databricks workspace, right? And if you click on home, that will redirect to your users and different a notebook that or you already created. And next is the workspace. Workspace is the main on the Databricks where um, you can find out, um, you can create your notebook, you can create folder, you can import or export folder from other places, and you can share the notebook. Um, all those things are happening in the workspace. Even you can control the access on your particular workspace. Basically, you can provide access to specific users or specific group. Everything you'll be doing using the workspace. This result is same thing that you have seen on the Databricks homepage, where it will display all the notebook that we used recently. And next is data. Data is the place where you will be creating tables, or you're importing the data from different files. And the table that you created here is it's a managed table. Once you create the table, then the underlying data will be deleted from there. So the file system that it using in Databricks is called the DBFS, Databricks file system. It is same as HDFS, right? It's a Hadoop file system. This is a Databricks file system. Only name is different, but basically um, it's almost same, right? And the main portion is cluster. So whoever knows Spark already know about the cluster. The cluster is the group of um, compute node and the master node, right? The Spark is working the basis of parallelism, and how it happens. It all the nodes attached to the cluster work together for a single task or multiple tasks. So how the nodes are working, it is based on the instruction provided by the master node. So master node, the combination of master node and the worker node is known as the cluster. So if you want to make use of the Databricks, first you need to create the cluster, and from there you can uh, start using all the benefit of Databricks. So for this demo, I'm using JKB Bricks, Dbricks. That's the name. And in the next option, you can see different versions of Databricks available currently. Um, 6.2, 6.3 ml, 6.3 Scala, anything. So these all are beta. So I just select 6.3. Um, and you can see, since it is a free version, we have a limitation. We have limitation to use or scale up the cluster. So as it says, free 6 GB memory. As a community edition user, your cluster will automatically terminate after an idle period of 2 hours. So that's fine because you are studying, right? So even if your cluster is not up, nothing is going to happen. But in a real scenario, when you deploy Databricks application into your production environment, then the cluster is required continuously, right? So even if you give scalability and idle timing to half an hour or 1 hour, normally in the production scenario it will keep on, the query will be keep on running, so it will be never be idle. Even if you think that if you create different clusters for different community, like data engineers separate community, um, data scientist separate community, business user separate community, then you can think that okay, data engineering community, there will not be continuous pipeline or continuous job running every time, right? So you can keep some like half an hour or 1 hour idle time. So if it is not performing any task for 1 hour period, then it will automatically disconnect. The cluster will be disconnected. Then next time you need to restart the cluster for running any query. Okay. Then next is instance, which zone it is available. You can select that zone, any zone is fine, and click on the Spark. If you want to give any kind of Spark configuration, you can paste it here. For example, in my live scenario, we were using Hive tables. So Hive metadata stored in the SQL instance, not on the uh, default Hive data warehouse. So in that case, if it is external meta store, we have to provide all the data here, all the values here in the Spark configuration. So in the real Databricks, no, this is a community edition. In the real premium edition, we have a lot more features available. And once I start using the premium one for this training session, I can explain each and every feature later, right? So now go back to we'll go back and create this new cluster. Just click on cluster, and why it's not coming? Okay, yes. Okay, now the cluster is up. Let's go and create our first notebook. So click on workspace. Then, okay, so you can store your notebook in a specific folder so that you can organize the notebook based on subject areas. So for this demo, I'm going to create a folder called demo. What happened? Why I'm not able to click on workspace? Oh man, what? Okay, let me cancel it. Yes. So click on create and click on the folder. So let me give the name as demo, create folder. So now you can see on the left hand side we have new folder called demo. So inside this demo, I'm going to create notebook. So click on create, then click on notebook. So you can create notebook, library, folder, or machine learning flow experiment. So for this demo, I'm going to create notebook and name it as my first notebook. Okay, and you can use different languages based on your interest, either Python, Scala, SQL, or R. So for this demo, I'm using Python. Then next is cluster. So our cluster is already up and running. Even if the cluster is not available, you can make it as blank and create the notebook. Later, once you create the cluster, you can attach the cluster into your notebook. Okay, click on create. Now, this is my first notebook. So let me um, stop this session here after creating the static records, and we'll go in depth on the next sessions. So let me create, I'll show you how we can create the rows and keep it in a variable. So for that, okay, before going that, I can show you that, let's say I created the notebook using Python, and if you want to convert back into SQL or any other language, you can use magic command. So let's use percentage SQL. So once you use this one, then you are ready to use any SQL statement here. Select star from table score name, but we don't have table right now, so just for demo. And if you want to change that into Python, no, anyway, it is Python, so Scala, you can type Scala. Okay, so for this demo, I'm using Python, so no, you don't need to use this. Uh, Cancel it. Now, for using the row, we need to import the row from PySpark SQL. So from PySpark.sql import Now let's create rows and append to the variable my row equal to, open the bracket. Then if you need to add multiple rows, type row within bracket, provide your value USA, and uh, you can give Texas, comma. You can use the same statement again and again. So I'm going to use only three values. So this is very useful if you want to use static values, specific values, and for your program, right? So this will be like your values, lookup value or something like that. Like keep it as no, not required. One second. Say Georgia, USA, and California. Okay. Now let's display this. So now you can see that my row contains three values: USA Texas, USA Georgia, USA California. That's it for this session. Please comment if you have any question and share my videos. You'll be getting more videos on Databricks soon. Thank you. Thank you very much.